Good morning, everyone. I'm Danica, and I'd like to welcome you to Discovery Church. We're super glad that you're here. That sound you're gonna hear every now and then is the sound of us getting a new roof. Hooray for no more leaks! Unfortunately, it does mean that this video is gonna sound a lot like we filmed it in a bowling alley. Anyway, we're gonna get started with the service in just a few minutes, but before we do that, we wanna let you know about what's happening around DCC. First up, Group Link is next Sunday, and it's a great way to get connected at DCC.
If you want to get connected in community at DCC, then Group Link is the event for you. Group Link is a relaxed, open house style environment full of friendly people who would love to help you find the right group for you. You'll have the opportunity to check out all the different groups available at DCC. If you see a group that interests you, then get to know the leaders. They would love to talk to you. Plus, it's a good chance for you to figure out if they're a weirdo. If you find any groups that you think are a good fit for you, all you have to do is get signed up. We hope that you will join us for Group Link. Because life happens in circles, not rows.
It would help us out a lot to know that you're coming, so please get registered for Group Link at me2place.com/events, and we'll see you at Group Link. Next up, since we're starting 2 services on Saturday, we need a ton of help everywhere, but especially in Discovery Kids. Here's a little look at what it's like to be a part of the team that works with our kids every week.
My name's Kirk Sparling. This is my wife, Donna.
Kids are my people. We get along. I fit right in. We joke around. I get their sense of humor. They get me, and that's really hard. Most people don't get me.
Donna was interested in serving in the Discovery Kids here, and so I'm like, oh, I'll try it. Even though I didn't know anything coming in, it was baby steps. They explained everything, going through the process until I was comfortable with it. The first time I had one of the kids say, yeah, bye, Mom, crying, walking up to the door, and then they
we dance.
4, 3, they'll see me in the hallway and still run over and give me a hug, even though that they moved on to kindergarten.
It's knowing that you make a difference and having the kids happy to see you. And they'll come in and one week they're having a rough day and you give them a hug and tell them it's okay. And then the next week they come in and get an update. And it's really somebody.
If you want to serve in Discovery Kids, or just find out more information, go talk to one of the lovely people at the New Kids Desk, and they'll be glad to help you out. Or you can go see all of our needs at me2place.com/kidsministryjobs. We post all sorts of stuff on our social media to keep you in the know about what's going on at DCC. So join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And share our posts too. It's one of the easiest ways to invite our community to DCC.
Morning, DCC. You want to stand up?
Singing redemption song. There's a fire that burns inside. A fire that burns inside. Nothing can stop us. We'll be running through the night with a fire that burns inside. A fire that burns inside. We are the freedom generation. Singing of mercy. You are the one who set us all in motion. Yours is the glory. There's a fire in our hearts and it burns for you. It's never gonna fade away. We are the risen. No one passion will through the night, and our passion will not die. No, our passion will not die. We are the freedom generation, singing of mercy. You are the one who set us all in motion. Yours is the glory. There's a fire in our hearts and it burns for you. fade away. There's a fire in our hearts and it burns for you. It's never gonna fade away. Yours is. Come on, get your hands together. Whose love is mighty and so much stronger. The King of glory, the King above all kings. Who shakes the whole earth with holy thunder. Who leaves us breathless in awe and wonder. The King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Yeah. Whoa, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, the King of glory, who rules the nation. Yes, the King of glory, the King above all kings. Oh, this is amazing grace. This is a failing life, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your that I would be set free. Yeah. Whoa, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Come on. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy, worthy, worthy. Oh, this is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Yeah. Whoa, Jesus, I sing for all that you did.
You are there, and you that is broken. Are you Lord? It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only.
every heart that is broken. And it's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Jesus breathed life into us. He took our bones, our dry and weary bones, and he breathed life into us. His last breath was our first breath. And I think that there is a seat at the table next to him for everyone in this room. There's not a single person in this room today who is underneath the table eating the crumbs off the ground. We're all seated next to him. It doesn't matter what your story reads. It doesn't matter what you did last night or a year ago. We're all seated at the table next to him. So what's going to happen? Some trays are going to come up and down the aisle with a little wafer and a cup of juice. You're going to take one of each of those. Remember that he breathed breath into our lungs. Remember to reconnect to that. He is every breath that we breathe. He is every word that we speak. If you're not familiar with us, you're going to hear some cracking of the cups around the room. And this is our way of saying that it is finished. That he knew what we were going to do before we did it. And he still said it's finished. He still said, I love you so much that I'm going to sacrifice myself for you, no matter how broken and dirty you may be. Would you guys pray with me? Jesus, thank you. Thank you for taking our place on that cross. Thank you for bearing our weight and our sin. Jesus, I pray that this will be a moment for us to reconnect with you, to remember that thing that was planted within us, within our spirit, that maybe we've never known, but our spirit has always known. Jesus, we love you. It's in your name.
used to go to Trek just to like hang out and do 9 Square. After the first camp, the one that some type of like was really cool. I really saw God. I never used to love going to church, never did. And then when I wanted to come back here, I wanted to listen more. I started enjoying doing this more than 9 Square. I met Braden up at camp, which is my best friend. We talked, and he told me how he got baptized when he was younger. I never got baptized. And so I kept watching all the videos, and I really enjoyed them. And I said, that's how I want to get baptized. Yeah, I want to thank Braden, because if he didn't go to that camp, we never met, I probably wouldn't be doing this baptism video. And I want to thank Dan for talking like every Wednesday. And even when I don't want to do it, he keeps pushing me to do it. My story. And I want to thank my dad, because it's just a big part of my life. Baptism means to me is the next step into knowing who God is and showing that not only that I love him, that he loves me.
That baptism is going to take place next service. So if you
mighty breath of God, move upon this place. Oh, mighty breath of God, come and move in power and grace. Streams of mercy flowing down, light of heaven all around, and it's falling to the ground. Mighty breath of God, move upon this place. Mighty breath of God, won't you move in power and grace? Spirit fire, fan the flame. Passion for your holy name. Burning move upon this place. Mighty breath of God, won't you move Let your wind blow. Let your fire fall. You sing that out. Lift it up. Let your God, we just thank you that you are in this place, that you are moving, that your wind of your Spirit is moving in this place and in our hearts. There's no denying that. But God, help us to respond to that. Don't let it be something that's just we're observing. God, we want to experience all of who you are. In your name we pray. Amen. Go ahead and have a seat. So last Sunday night, about 6 p.m., I received a text from Mary, who happens to be the wife of my best buddy Dave back in Louisville that I talked about in the very first week of this series, who's battling cancer. And the text came through and it simply said, "Please pray for peaceful passage for Dave. The boys are here." The boys she's talking about there are his 3 adult sons. And so I was kind of startled by that. I picked it up and I said, is it time? And she said, it's very near. So I went to Stace and I told her, and then I prayed, and about 3 hours later, I received another text that said, Dave's gone home to be with Jesus at the young age of 58. And I didn't sleep real well. I didn't sleep real well that night, but I got up the next morning and I talked to Mary on the phone and started to talk about the service and make arrangements for that, and I started to make travel arrangements, and then I had to rearrange some things on my schedule and reschedule some appointments that I had in the week, and then I had to sit down with Stella, my youngest, and talk to her about what had happened, and she was really, really close with Dave, and so I made it through Monday, and then Tuesday morning was meetings as usual, and then Tuesday afternoon I had to sit down and try to figure out, okay, what am I going to say about this guy who's one of the best friends I've ever had in my life. And so worked on that Tuesday afternoon, jetted out Wednesday morning, flew back to Louisville, got picked up at the airport, taken to the funeral home, 4 hours of visitation that night, and then the funeral on Thursday, and then I jetted back into town, got home a little after 9 o'clock on Friday night. And all that to say, I'm kind of a mess, and it's been kind of a crazy week for me. But you know, through all the craziness of this week, I was reminded, through the craziness of this week, I was reminded once again of how short and how precious life is. You know, God says to us, He says, your life's really like a mist. It's here for a while, and then it's gone. And we know that, right? We don't get to decide when it starts or when it ends. All we get to decide is how we're going to live it. And I was reminded again this week of just how short and how precious life is. And it was really, really frustrating with me. I'll just be honest. It was frustrating me as I was trying to write this message this week. Because here we are, and we're in this series, and I love this series. A series on connecting in relationships and doing life closely together, which is so needed and so important and so good. And yet I'm distracted by this violent storm that's hit my life this week, and I'm wrestling in the tension of that. And I got to this point where I'm like, screw, I'm just gonna pause the series. I'll pick it back up the next week, and I'm just going to talk today about grief and pain and loss and questioning God and all this stuff, because we could all use some of that, and that would be good. But in the midst of that, I was reminded once again of how important this series is. Because here's the question that came over me: where would my life be today without David Blackerby and his influence in it? And the honest answer to that question is frightening to me. See, if what we believe in this place is true, if what we believe in this place is true, then check this out. The only thing that any of us are capable of taking with us when we die is the very thing that we're talking about in this series, relationships with people around us who happen to put their faith and trust in Jesus. That's it. And if that's true, then here's my question. Why are we not working harder at this? Why are we not paying more attention to this? Why are we not more determined and more passionate about this stuff? And I think the answer is because, listen, relationships is the only thing we can take with us. That's true, but so is this. I think the answer is this, right? We've tried it before, right? It's scary for us. We've tried it before and we've been burned. We've moved toward it and it didn't go so well for us. Relationships is all we can take with us. That is true, but so is this. You ready? Right? Relational pain is some of the greatest pain that we'll ever experience in our life. That's our dilemma. That's the crossroads that all of us find ourselves in with this stuff. And so moving towards something that could possibly cause us pain is something that we just don't really want to do. I get that. I get that. That's me and that's you. And it's just hard for me to move towards something that I know is going to hurt me. And so here's what I want you to know. That's why we're doing this series. That's why we're doing this series, okay? Because this very thing that we should be moving toward, but we're not, that we're hesitant to move towards, that we're hesitant to move into or step into, happens to be the exact same thing that leads all of us to the life that every single one of us is looking forward to. And so in this series, we're talking about it. And we're talking about how do we break through this stuff. And so we've talked about, hey, here's all the benefits of life inside of a smaller circle, doing life together closely with a few other people. Here's the benefits. We talked about barriers and obstacles and the things that are getting in the way of us doing that. And today I want to shift gears. And I want us to talk about the difficulties and the challenges inside the circle. Some of the things that are really difficult for us and some of the challenges that we face once we step inside the circle. But before we talk about that today, I want to say good morning to you. Good morning. Hey, and welcome to this place we call DCC. So pumped and jazzed that you're here today. It's always true. But if you're brand new, special welcome and thanks to you for being here today. We want you to know all of your stories. Safe and welcome here every single week in this place. And you're in a room today full of people who are exactly like you, people who come together every single week. We're chasing after a better way to live, just like you. And we happen to believe in this place that Jesus offers that. The best news in that for you is this. You don't even have to believe that to belong here with us every single week. So thank you for taking a chance on us today. Thank you. Special thanks and shout out to you if you're new, and of course to all of our online friends who are tuning in, checking us out right now too. Good to have you with us. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 20 today. So if you have a Bible and you want to turn there, go ahead and turn to Matthew chapter 20. Hey, if you don't have a Bible, they're on the back tables by the wall if you want to grab one. If you can get there now or get it later on your way out, take it home with you. Love for you to have it. You can hit our app. You can hit YouVersion. You can read off that piece of paper, or you can just read with me on the screens here. So Matthew 20, beginning with verse 20. Here we go. Then the mother of Zebedee's sons came to Jesus with her sons, who are James and John, okay? And kneeling down, asked a favor of him, asked a favor of Jesus. What is it you want? He asked, Jesus asked. She said, grant that one of these two sons of mine may sit at your right and the other one at your left in your kingdom. All right, I want to just stop right there in the story. I know we don't have full context yet, but let's just stop right there. We talk all the time in this place about how the life that all of us are looking for is found in a small circle, not in a long road. Not saying this is not important. It's just not the destination. We want to do life together in a small circle with a few other people. That is where life change happens best. And so okay, that's great. That's good. Well, as we start to read this story, it's kind of like, well, welcome to life inside the circle. And if you don't have the full context, you don't know exactly what's going on here, but it's kind of like, okay, see what you're asking for here. This is why we can't give you, this is the stuff right here that's happening right here in this moment. This is why we can't give you a money-back guarantee in this place that your small circle experience, your small group experience, whatever you want to call it, it is going to be great, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be mind-blowing, it's going to be problem-free right from the get-go. We cannot promise anyone that. You want to know why? The answer is pretty simple, because it involves people. All right? And people are not perfect. The thing that we continue to point towards in this series that we all need to be striving for takes time and it takes effort for most of us. Some of us luck into it first time, most of us don't. Okay? So,
What has this moment got to do with this small circle thing that we've been talking about in this series? Great question. Here it is. So these two guys, Jesus has a small circle of followers. The disciples, what do you call them? There's a small circle of 12. These two guys, these two sons, James and John, happen to be in that 12, which is great. They also are not just in the 12. If we read the Gospels or the biographies of Jesus, whatever you want to call them, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, when you read those books, you see this. Jesus also had an inner circle of 4. So he's got the 12, and then he's got the 4. He's got these other guys that he does life more closely with. These two guys also happen to be in that circle, which is great. But as we read this story, apparently it's not enough for them. They want to be to his right and his left. We want to be your go-to guys. We want to be the guys that are known to be the closest to you. Now, okay, here's the thing. I think it's important that we stop right here and we unpack this a bit and we talk about this. Why? And here's the reason. This is the reason why. Because what is happening in this moment in this circle that we're reading about today is really going on in most of the small circles that we are living in too. What's happening in this circle is a dynamic that plays out in most of the circles that all of us find ourselves living in today too. And so I got 3 questions today I want to ask that I think are going to help us as we think about past experiences in the circle, present experiences in the circle, and contemplate future possibilities of these small relational circles that we live in. I want to ask us 3 questions. The first question today is this, okay? Is known for more important than known by? Now, I understand how I worded that a little bit awkward, but let me flesh that out a little bit for you. So, is being known for something more important to me than being known by someone? Is being known for something more important to me than really being known by someone? Now, I don't know about you, but when I read this story, I can't be too hard on James and John here. You know why? Because for so many of my years of my life, this was me. For so many years, this is the very thing that kept me. I didn't really want to be known by church people. That wasn't a big concern for me. My driving factor was I want to be known for something. I want to be known for something other than just being a nice guy or a good guy or a Christian guy. And this is going to sound really, really selfish and really, really shallow to you. And the reason it's going to sound that way is because it is really shallow and it's really selfish, but it's also true, okay? For many, many years in my life, I really didn't want to be known by you unless you could help me be known for something that I really wanted to be known for. Now that's not something I'm proud of, but it's true. I didn't really care much about being known by you unless you could help me be known for something that I wanted to be known for. You see, when I look behind the curtain of my life and I'm honest, I really think that for many years in my life, recognition was more important to me than most of the relationships in my life. I'm not proud of it, but it's true. And I just think we need to think about that because I don't think it's all that uncommon. Now, so let's go back to this story for a minute. James and John, they're in Jesus' inner circle. Think about that for a moment. Don't you think that has to be like the best small group experience ever? I mean, I've been thinking about that this week. I was like, man, that has to be the best ever. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's like, who's your small group leader? Jesus. Wow. It's like, that's got to be pretty cool, right? I think the best part about it had to be they never had an off night. They never had an off night. Because come on, the rest of us, you've moved in, you've done life in a small circle. I don't care if it's a church circle or not. You know what I'm talking about. Some nights are just duds, right? You go out with your buddies, it's like, yeah, that wasn't even fun. That was boring. Whatever. Or that was just kind of a miss. Small groups in church are the same too. I mean, Stacy and I are in a group with 5 other couples. We love these couples. They are close friends of ours. But there's nights when you're like, oh, you just have an off night, right? And it's not the leader's fault, and it's not the curriculum that you're studying and all that, or the people in the group's fault. Life is just heavy right now, right? And so you walk into this group, and you feel heavy, and life's heavy, and it's hard, and it doesn't matter. And there's Andy Stanley, and with all due respect, and you watch the video, and he's pouring sand in and talking about marriage and blue and pink, and it's great. But it just doesn't do anything for you that night, right? And we've all had those kind of experiences where you just kind of have an off night. Well, see, there was never an off night with Jesus. Jesus never had an off night. Everybody wanted to be in Jesus' small group. Right? Now, here's what's the point? Do I have one? I promise you I do, okay? Here's the point. Here's the point I'm getting to, right? I want to ask a question. Can you imagine the depth of relationship that was available inside of this group? Can you imagine the depth of relationship, the depth of relational connection that was available right there in front of these guys in this group? I mean, it's unbelievable, right? It's off the charts. It's blow your mind kind of stuff. And yet, check this out, it's not enough for James and John. Not enough for them. Group. They had a desire for more than that. Their desire, their greater desire was to be known for being the two guys that were closest to Jesus. Known by was getting lost in their desire for known for. Known for was getting in the way of this opportunity that's right in front of them to be known by like they'd never been known before. And I'm telling you, it's not uncommon. This stuff happens to us too. You know, when I think about my life, I've got a lot of regrets about my life. And I spent a lot of time this week thinking about my life because I was talking about the life of one of my best friends, and I got a lot of regrets. I regret mistakes I've made, the sin in my life, the way I've hurt people, Stace, my girls, my friends, the people I love the most. I've hurt all them. And as I was thinking about my life this week, though, you know what I realized? I realized that if I had been willing to move towards being known by a few people in my life, I probably would have prevented being known for things in my life today that I never wanted to be known for at all, like being unfaithful to my wife. Right? But if I'd just been known by a few more people, the right people in my life, maybe I could have prevented being known for the things in my life that I hate being known for today. You seeing how this stuff works? This known for, known by thing. I remember back when I was a pastor of a church in North Carolina, before I blew our lives up, I remember thinking that if I could just be known for being the pastor of a successful growing church, that it would prove that I have what it takes. And here's the thing. So if I could just be known for, it seemed to speak into this gap that existed in my life. Known by just kind of got pushed aside. Now here's the thing. When that happens, people just get lost in the shuffle. And people become a means to an end for us. And rather than having people to lean on, we tend to have people to step on. And we tend to use and manipulate people, and here's the scariest part. We don't even realize we're doing it. We don't intend to do that. It just happens in our lives. See, here's what happens. There's warfare involved here. The enemy, he serves up known for that there is nothing that will impact our lives by being really known by a few of the right people. So before we leave this, I just want you to think about your life. What do you want to be known for as you sit here today? It's okay. What do you want to be known for? You want to be known for being good looking? Right? You know, washboard abs and big biceps, like me. Is that what you want to be known for? For being wealthy or intelligent or educated or fit or disciplined or a good friend, a good father, a good husband, a good wife, a world changer, a great investor, a good Christian? What is it you want to be known for as you sit here today? Because every single one of us, here's what I know to be true, every single one of us wants to be known for something. So what does this known look like in your life and story? See, it's not just about being in a synagogue. It's not just about what we circle of living in. That's an important question. When I look behind the scenes, behind the curtain in my life, is known by getting lost in known for, like it appears to be doing with James and John here? It's such an important question for us to ask ourselves. Okay, let's keep going though. All right. So Jesus' response. Okay, so know what you're asking. Jesus said to them, "Can you drink the cup that I'm going to drink?" We can, they answer, but that's their answer. Okay. So Jesus said to them, "You will indeed drink from my cup, but to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those whom they've been prepared by my Father." Now, this kind of feels like a rebuke, but Jesus doesn't rebuke them really hard. Jesus says to them here, and in the small, pay attention to this here. Do I have a proximity problem? See, very often in our lives, some are and really unsafe about letting say something to you. Yes, you do. The enemy is alive and well. You've got to trust it, and you've got to try it until you really experience it. That is the heart that Jesus is pointing all of us to here. To be needed, and we need. Can you imagine what it would be like to do life in a small circle with a few other people who really for us, knowing that regardless of how it plays out, you've got us, and this is a path to offer who it is that you've uniquely created us to be. And lead. Are you going? last night or zombie shoot. DCC, partner with us financially, okay? And we'd love that. We need you on mission with us financially, but we don't pressure people or pass anything. We just hang by. You can hit our app or our website if you want to do it electronically. Knowing us, it probably is. So